Okay, well, what do we have today? A gentleman from the UK, which is a fellow e-biker, or a motorcyclist. It's, I've been driving motorcycles for 40 years, so, it's the same shit, different pile. Asked me, what kind of cold weather gear do you guys use in Canada? Because, unlike what you've heard on the mainstream media, Canada is not the tropical paradise that they would have you believe. But anyway, so what I suggested is I said, look, if you just get some heated gloves, a heated vest, that's probably about 90 to 95% of what you're going to want. And I've done a lot of tests. I've actually had to send heated gloves back from that site that I shall not name, the mythical warrior woman site. I'm sure you can figure it out. So what I've done is I've actually found a couple of good products that are actually reasonable for people that do live in colder climates, that want to have at least a little bit of warmth going forward, because I work outside, so I don't care. It could be minus 20 or plus 30. It's like whatever, right? So I found these gloves on Amazon. What I do like is, if you can see on the bottom part of it, the palm side, it's all rubberized, or at least have some sort of polyethylene or something like that on the bottom, so you can grip the grips, because I'm an e-biker. And on the top, it's all just waterproof fabric. Now, would I say these are super high quality? No, but they are definitely the best ones I've seen, because I've ordered a few from Amazon and they've turned out to be total shit. So these ones are at least, reasonable. They come with a 6,000 milliamp power pack. I do a couple of tests later in the video, which will show you how much they actually hold. Now, these are high cobalt batteries, so these are a little bit more resistant to cold weather, voltage droppage and stuff like that. The problem with lithium ion is if it gets under 15 degrees, it starts losing power. Now, the beauty of how these gloves are set up, because they are so simple, is that this battery actually sits on part of the heating pad, so it's actually self-heating, so you're going to get a lot less power drain. Also, these packs are 6,000 milliamp, which is the highest I've seen yet on these sorts of gloves. For example, my old school power pack that I used to have in my older gloves before they went tits up, they lasted about 3 years or so. Still works perfectly fine, as you can see. These only have about 2,800 milliamps. I got 2,730 milliamps or something into them, or something like that, and they're rated at 4,000. There's no goddamn way they're 4,000. This is like straight from the Ho Chi Minh Trail. But because this is a 5-volt system, which means there's a boost circuit in these, because you got 3.7 nominal boosting up to 5 volt. These work perfectly fine. So I'll put these little ones in on one of my longer jaunts or longer shifts, burn them down, and then put in the real battery packs. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of a double duty here. But anyway, they're fairly well made. Unfortunately, I ordered different ones from Amazon before that were sort of more motorcycle oriented, because I've been riding for 40 years, so I got all kinds of old motorcycle shit. And it was good on paper. The problem is the quality was so bad, even though it was a 7.4 volt system, which basically would be 2 of these in parallel. So you got to watch it, because how they advertise things are a little bit different. If I have these two in series, sorry, not parallel, in series, I'm going to get 7.4 volts out of it, which is, more heat to the glove, of course, right? But you're going to halve the amperage. You're actually going to have the amount of power that you have available. So this is how they do it, because I know a lot of people don't understand like what amperage is, what's parallel, what they're doing is they'll say, oh, this is a 6,000 milliamp battery, but the problem is it's in series, so that means you have two 2500s or two 3000s. So you're not getting 6,000. You're charging two batteries at 3,000 milliamps. Now, there's some advantages and disadvantages of that. Obviously, if you have a higher voltage, it doesn't have to work as hard, it can get hotter or whatever, but you're not going to get the run times of a lower voltage battery that just has more amperage. So it's a trade-off. There's no free lunch, basically. But anyway, just on to the gloves themselves. They seem fairly well made. What I like is they have a huge ass button on here, so if you actually have to use the button with the gloves on, it's not a big deal. They have obviously an adjustment for the cuff. So if you need to, tighten it up a bit, you want to try to make it as airtight as possible, because that's how, insulation works, right? You're basically creating a barrier between a cold air and a hot air. Now, I will say that because I use an e-bike and I have to hit the throttle all the time with my thumb, it's a thumb throttle, it's like a skidoo, basically. When I do hit the throttle, I've noticed that it does produce a little bit colder in the thumb area, and the reason why for that is because you're defeating the insulation by sticking your thumb, one, up against a cold surface, and two, because you're not allowing it so that there's airflow, like there's a warm air cushion around your thumb. It's very minor, but I'm just going to tell you, it doesn't matter what you get. You could have $1,000 gloves and it's going to do that. It's just physics. And also, what I do have as well is this vest. Now, this vest is crazy fucking hot. I'm just going to tell you that. Like, I cannot put it on high. You'll find out later in the test what the medium and the low do. Here, I'm sorry, I'm gonna grab my battery to power it, just to show you what the lights mean and everything like that. It's a very simple thing. So what we have here is there's a pocket here, right? Obviously, where you stick the battery. Now, this battery is fucking huge. This is a monster. This is like a 20,000 milliamp battery. And it charges at 30 watts and discharges at 30 watts if necessary. Now, all this uses, though, is if you look at it, you see how it's just like a USB-A. This is pulling about 2.4 amps. So this is just a normal USB 3. Put it this way, any Grim power supply that you buy on the market is going to have that. What you do is you basically just plug it in. All right, we'll just plug it in. See, this comes on, and if you notice, there's a light here, and you can set all of the elements on, or to medium, or to high, or to low, or whatever you want. You can also select different, say I want the back to be on high, but I want the front to be on low or whatever. You know, you can set it at different sort of, you know, temperature settings, which is more appropriate to what you want, if you wish. And if you hit the power button, it just switches them all at the same time. And of course, if you hold down the power button, it just switches it off. It's a very simple interface. Anybody can understand it. So anyway, but the thing is this vest really heats up. Like I've yet to put it on high, because even on medium with all, you know, my jacket on and, you know, all my layering and everything like that, it's extremely hot. Now we're going to go on to the test later, which will show you the exact milliamperage that it uses per hour. And that'll give you an idea of like, oh, my power bank can pump out X, so that you can determine what your run times are going to be. All right, on to the tests. Okay, now this is what I got into the actual one of the batteries. I just took one of the batteries here. Hold on, I gotta turn this back on again. This is an awesome little tester. 5,459 milliamps into a 6,000 milliamp battery. Now you're gonna have to add an extra 10% on there, because these gloves do have a proper low voltage cutoff, so it doesn't kill the cells. It just doesn't drain them into the oblivion and kill them. Let me see how long it'll take. See, there's got like 50,000 screens on here. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. It's small as fuck. But it says 3 hours and 11 minutes. Hold on. This thing keeps, you know, there's no load on it, so it'll automatically time out after. So that's 3 hours and 11 minutes, and that's 28 watt hours. They're only rated for 22, so it's actually getting more watt hours than it's actually rated for. Okay, there you go. Okay, this is the amperage that it's pulling, the vest. That's 2.4 amps. So you need a pretty decent power bank, really. It's USB 3, so they say that this vest will run off of 2.1, so slightly less. I'm wondering how low can you go to actually run this vest. But this is a very, very high quality power bank I have here. So it's pulling 2.4 on high. All right. Okay, after an hour, I'm kind of dumb. Let's see if I can zoom in on it. It's 2,438 milliamps. I just realized I did an hour draw test. I could have just said, oh, it's pulling this, and then after an hour you do it. So anyway, that was high. So I'm going to do medium and low, which tells you what it's actually pulling from the power bank. And then from there, you can just extrapolate out, you know, divide it by how many. I might put this USB tester actually in the links as well, because this is a very handy device, because this will actually tell you how much your power bank actually pumps out, because there's a boost circuit, it's powering all these ports and everything else. So there's a parasitic draw. Like, I'm not going to get 20,000 milliamps out of this. I think I got about 13,500 when I was drawing just like a normal USB load. Anyway, I'll do the rest of the tests and you can take a look. This is very interesting. On medium, if you notice, it'll have a draw, and then see how it goes to 0? So basically, it's fluctuating between the turning it on and then turning it off, and then turning it on to reduce power instead of actually doing a reduction of power. So it's basically just turning it on and off to go to the medium setting. So yeah, it does work. It'll, you know, get less power if it's not fully on. But that's interesting. All right, thanks. Bye. Okay, on the medium setting, with it flickering on and off, it's 1,710 milliamps after an hour, per hour. which is very interesting. It's weird how they do it. You'd think they would just lower the amperage, but I guess it's kind of efficient to do it like sort of like a furnace, where it turns on, gets a temperature, turns off. Turns on, gets a temperature, turns off. So I think they're using the same sort of methodology here. Let's try the low setting and see what the power draw is off that. Okay, on low, as you can see how it's kind of jumping around a bit? So it's using a lower amperage and then jumping up high to a higher amperage, but there's more off time than on time on the low setting, as you can see. Alright, let's see what the results are after an hour. Okay, here we are after 1 hour of low power draw. Let me just take this off. It's about 750 milliamps, if I'm correct. 750. That's very low power draw. Alright, there you go on low for after an hour. Okay. Okay, well, what are my conclusions? Sorry I have to do this kind of shittily because I just moved. So everything's all sort of discombobulated. But as you can see, we have the two gloves here with the battery packs. That was about 69 bucks. The crazy ass power bank thing, I'm not sure what it is, because I only paid about 30 bucks for the original one that crapped out, and as a bonus they gave me their top of the line model for free. So that's sort of a brick. That's a little bit crazy. Like, you'd probably just get like the little thin ones that are about 10,000 milliamps. That'll cost you about 30 bucks maybe. So let's say 100 bucks for this side. And the vest, which doesn't come with a power bank, you have to supply your own, it's about, I think it was about $51 Canadian. So you're looking at about 150 bucks to 200, say, in case you want to get like a crazy ass power bank, because that power bank, it'll power this vest all day because it's so huge. So if you think about it, for under 200 bucks Canadian, you're basically 95% there. Now you can get heated socks and all this other crap. I don't know if you need that. The one good thing about this vest is on the side here, you see how there's this zippered part? You can undo the zipper, which expands the vest out to extra large, which is good because you want to be able to stick sweaters or extra shirts or anything like that. But in the spring, if you just want to wear the vest because it's not that cold out, you can zip it up to make it thin and then just wear it like a vest under, over a normal shirt. So there you go. That's what I wear. So if that helps you out, I'll put all the links in the description and try to see if you can get it in the UK. All right. Bye.